dad started to teach me how to play the drums when I was like living with him. I wish that's something I would have kept
You
up.
could definitely play the drums.
If I put the practice in, I think I could. Yeah,
for sure. Not me.
Dude, Melody's getting raw on the piano.
Caden can play a bunch of shit. It's crazy.
Dude, YouTube.
I put the keyboard in his room because I was like, I don't fucking use it. But yeah, he could play Still Dre. He could play a bunch of like little Dirk songs and like all kind of like, cause you know all the trap shit now is like piano and I don't know. Some of the shit he like. What I like is that he likes a lot of the shit that I put him on. He likes Outkast. He likes all the old R&B. J. Cole, like he likes all that shit, but then he also listens to some shit that I'm like, it's weird though because like what's I guess like something that I can hang my hat on is that I'm not a stickler for like I'll listen to new shit. Like I literally will give anybody a chance. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people just like that's just whack or whatever, you know. But
it's hard, especially as you get older. Cause like my man, he knows him, Dalton, our dude Dalton. He all the time hits me up like, have you heard this new shit? Have you heard this new artist or this and new that? And I'm like,
NBA YoungBoy. He keeps trying to push that. And
he pushes like so much stuff on me, and I'm like I'll give it a shot, but I'm like, I don't like it, and I'll go to him, and I'm honest. If I don't fuck with your shit, I just don't fuck with it, and I try to be. Not to be a dick about it, but I just be like, nah, that ain't do it for me. He's like, for real, man, you ain't fucking with Big X the Plug. I'm like, he all right. I mean, he a vibe, but like you got what's weird for like young kids to understand about us, our era, is like you had to be good. Like if okay, I broke this down for a dude at work the other day. If you play a musical instrument and you sing or you play in a band or you play a live instrument, you automatically get points with me because that's a talent that I just don't have unless I would put the thing into it. But if your only responsibility is words, rap, or a singer or a lyric or whatever, in any way you're a lyricist and your only responsibility is words, you have to be good to impress me. Mm. Now I could get down with some club boppy kind of shit. I could get down with that, but as far as like being impressive, you got to come with it, man.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's like what I have a lot of a problem with the new shit is if you're off beat, and this is coming from somebody who has been off beat a time or two, you know what I'm saying? But if you're off beat, like that shit. See, what saved me a lot of times was I had some shit to say. You know what I mean? Like, so my shit might not have been as polished as I wanted it to be when I first started out rapping, but it was for the sake of getting a bar off. It wasn't just because I didn't understand that I was off beat or whatever. You know what I mean? And like, I turned it and made an art into it where like, I'll go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then hit the 8. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, oh, he's off beat. Nah, he's back. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know who does that? Big Sean does that.
Oh yeah, Big Sean.
That's so cool. Like, I've always like when Big Sean came out, because I've been rapping for years before Big Sean came out. But when Big Sean came out and everybody started fucking Big Sean, I was like, y'all motherfuckers used to talk shit when I was do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it's like as long as it's tasteful. But what you said about live instruments, like, you don't get a pass when you're playing live instruments. You know what I'm saying? If you go to a live show and the fucking guitarist is not in time with the drummer, or the bass player is over there fucking.
Well, then he can't play a live instrument.
Well, that's what I mean, though. Like, I mean, he might be able to play, but he doesn't understand the timing of the song. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so, like, if you turn all the other shit off, like with the rappers, it's like if you turn the beat off, he might sound decent, but there's a beat, motherfucker. You got like you have these constraints. Go be a fucking poet. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is nobody want to hear poetry like, I got that big moon and I got the money in the bag. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like that's so not bad. Poetry. You know what I'm saying? But that's the only thing that kills me is because as long as you're on beat, like I'll give you a chance. But when they're off beat, and a lot of times they are these days, you know, like it's not even abstract. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like it's beyond abstract. Like abstract is like I just said, like, you know, you come in and out of the beat where you're still in time. It's just like, like Tool. Like y'all ever listen to Tool?
Hell
Like Tool,
yeah.
like it to the average person that's just trying to listen to the time, they'd be like, oh, that's out of time, but it's not. Like the guitar is gonna come back around on the 12. You know what I'm saying? Like they're playing in thirds or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But these guys don't even understand that. You know what I mean? I'm like, you gotta come back at some point. You know what I'm saying? You can't just do 16.
It's a pattern.
Yeah.
It's a circle, dude. It's like a circuit.
Yeah, for sure. For
Play
sure.
live instruments, Randall?
I do not.
Tambourine?
No.
Everybody can play it. What's that
The
little
recorder?
shit?
I excelled at the recorder, though.
Yeah, you used to crush the recorder.
Yeah.
I mean, you was like Lisa back in the room.
Lisa Simpson.
Yeah.
Hot cross buns all night. I had it.
I remember the recorder. Damn,
I ain't even never played that shit, dog.
we had to play it in music class in like 7th, 8th grade.
Really?
Yeah. Our music teacher was kind of semi-dope.
We had to buy it and everything.
We had to buy our own. It was like $15, $20 at the
I
time.
remember my mom was stressing about that.
Dude, we had to buy my daughter a violin. You know how much a violin is? It's like $350.
Yeah, for
We
like
rented
a
the viola.
for just like a
I think she
decent-
actually plays the viola. Not
for
the
just like a
violin.
decent one.
Dude,
Too.
you know how much a bass, like a stand-up bass, costs? Like $1,700.
Yeah,
But dude, that's the best instrument on the stage, dude.
but that's what we. It's funny you said that.
The big bass, dude. That shit.
Violins and cellos are pretty nice, too.
They
though.
are pretty dope, but it's like playing the tuba.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You
Like,
can't mess with the
fucking-
violin. For me, when there's like a big production, violins and the horn sections go for me. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't.
I'm all about that bass.
I like the bass and the drums. Like they carry the song.
That's
But
the heartbeat, man.
but there's nothing like when the horns come in. You know what I'm saying? Like to give you an example is like that Outkast song. Like yeah, the song was
The
hard, but
Spariotti.
as soon as that thing hit, you like, oh, here come the horns. You know what I'm saying? But I was gonna say like there's my Raven, my wife. Yesterday we were riding back. We picked Caden up from school and we were riding back, and she's like, or from practice, and she's like showing me a piano that somebody's giving away for free. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
old school piano, like and I already know, like this is a wife. Like she don't play instruments or none of that shit. So she's thinking like decor. Like
Yeah.
I want to put this in our dining room or in our formal entryway and like have a piano there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, hell no. And she's like, what? And she's like trying to sell it to me because I'm a musician and Caden's into piano. And she's like, what? I was like, he got a keyboard in his room. He could play the guitar, the bass, the drum. Like he could load any sound into that thing and play it. Like we don't need an old school piano. And she's like, well, why? You know, why don't y'all want it? I was like, cause you just want it because it looks good. But you don't understand. Like there's a reason that bitch free.
It's
Like,
heavy as hell.
It's heavy, and
as
it's
hell.
probably got broken strings. It's out of tune,
yeah,
and then Caden got in with me. He's like, "Yeah, I mean, if it's got to be tuned, this and that." I was like, "Yeah, we can go get a free piano, but if you want it to be functional, we're probably gonna spend $1,000 having somebody come out here replace the strings."
It's like a baby grand or like a grand piano.
I mean, it was just like the wooden one that would be at the church. You know what I'm saying? A little flip up. It's been painted. Like it's all gray,
black.
like it's not the
Black.
real wood. Like
Want that mahogany?
It is pretty classy, though.
It
Having
is.
a piano
it is.
in your house.
If it was like painted, but did you come through my house? Have you seen the decor in here? Like
Does it look
nothing,
piano-esque?
nothing's functional. It's just like looks good. You know what I mean? And
Everything
if it were
is-
up to me, the whole house looked like this shit.
Like a frat room.
Yeah, you know what I
Dorm
mean?
room.
Like you said, Kurt Cobain, that would be in the damn living room, a big ass fucking Kurt Cobain. And,
Yeah, that's why my wife don't
yeah.
let me decorate either. Cause
I'm a
like,
big fan of the Power Rangers, though.
oh yeah, dude, the
like,
Power
I'm-
Rangers, and Ninja Turtles. I wish I could find an older one. That's the new one, but the new one was pretty dope.
That
I'm
one
sure
was-
you
that
saw it.
one
You
was
got
dope.
kids.
That one was really dope.
That one was dope. I liked how it was like super hip hop
Yeah,
based.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, Bebop and Rocksteady are my kids' favorites for sure.
Yeah.
yeah, the jam, dude.
I mean, I'm a little upset because I don't have like all my favorite rappers. I mean, I do. I got Pac. I got J. Cole. I just got the Juice WRLD one. Somebody gave me that. Somebody gave me Trippie Redd. Like that's one that like y'all talk new school, and I listened to his new album. I was so disappointed. I'm not a Trippie Redd fan, but the art's pretty dope. Whatever. The beats were so cold on that album, bro.
I remember you telling me about it.
Yeah, the beats were so
It's like
cold.
so
I was
disappointed
like,
because he
yeah,
gets
and I
on
was
there,
just like, yeah, he just gets on there and mumble hum auto-tune mumbles to it, and I'm like, that. I think that's where I fall short with a lot of the new cats. Like but I do give them a chance because like I remember Roddy Ricch came out. Mm-hmm. He got some bangers, bro. You know, Rod Wave got some dope music. You know what I'm saying? NBA YoungBoy actually has some good songs. Like you gotta
when he was much younger.
You gotta thumb through, but he does do a lot of that mumble hum.
Yeah. I listened to an interview with him the other day, and just him talking. He's like, I was like, dude, fucking enunciate.
It's like we talked about with our guests. Sometimes, you know, we get young rappers on. They just too cool to just be themselves. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you don't realize like how far you could go by like.
Being
just
smart.
Just opening up,
yourself
just opening up. You know what I mean? Like it's gotten me very far. Like nobody's, not that I know, nobody to my face or in the comments or nowhere has been like, this dude's fake. You know what I'm saying? Or this dude's that or this. Like they might not like my art, but at the end of the day, they're like, I've met this dude or this dude. You could tell like he's got conviction and compassion behind it, and if you listen to him talk, he's not no idiot. You know what I'm saying? So like that's what I don't think they understand is just like you ain't gotta be cool all the time, man. Like dude, especially this day and age. Like back in the day,
that's
you had to be like
days, dude. Like that interview with the Migos. Whenever Joe Budden.
Well, I think it's always been that way though. Like
Joe
if you
Budden
go back to like
Eazy-E,
Eazy-E, NWA, like they had to put on this hard front. You know what I'm saying? And like nowadays, I don't understand it because nowadays it's like you get championed for being a sissy. So why not be open and emotional? You know
Here we go.
Right?
Yeah, dude.
I mean, you win the Heisman Trophy and you paint your nails.
You know what I'm saying?
Even football going sissy.
Dude, you have one surgery and you become Lady of the Year or Woman of the Year.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't understand why y'all still got the veil up. Like, just be your true self.
When I was in, I had a history class one time, and they went down this little religion thing, and they were breaking down like Islam and shit, and I was like, it's a bit extreme. It's a bit extreme because they're like, oh, we cover ourselves because men are such perverts that they can't they can't control themselves. I'm like, I mean, we are.
Get
but
in
we
the
can
bag,
control
woman.
ourselves. I mean, get the fuck out of here with all that shit.
Well, I
dude.
think that you've heard that
What was weird is it was a class. Like they tried to push that shit down your throat.
Yeah, but I think you've been misled because
I didn't believe it.
No, I'm not saying that you believe it. I'm saying that they told you something that wasn't completely true because that's not, and I'm not gonna sit, you know, I'm not gonna try to like defend Islam by any stretch of the imagination, but that's not why. You know what I'm saying? It's out of reverence for Allah, the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Like and it's not. It's not like it's like people trying to explain ancient traditions. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody that's from our time trying to be like, it's the same even in the Bible, like women are supposed to cover their hair, men are supposed to shave their beards. Like these are things that are in the Torah. These are things that are, you know what I mean? And it wasn't because of like being subservient to men. You get what I'm saying? Like this is things that are like passed down as law from whatever God you think. You know what I'm saying? And like in our human understanding, we're going, this is misogyny. This is that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not. You know, like you're not supposed to have sex with your wife when she's on her period. Like in the Old Testament, like
it's a good rule.
Like yeah, but in the Old Testament, like you're not even supposed to
be in the same room as her type
right.
shit. Like that,
you know what I'm saying? And in 2023, that's looked at as
your husband can have his period.
Well, yeah, right. But it's looked at as like being subservient to a man. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think people understand that like the true tradition comes from being obedient to your Lord and your God or whatever you decide. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Interject. Absolutely.
So yeah, my wife and my daughters veil at Mass. They cover their hair very traditional, like in the Catholic Church, and that's to show humility before God. They don't wear the veil outside of church. And I think what he was saying was actually kind of correct because a lot of the Summas and in the Quran itself, it's saying that's why a lot of the women that leave under Sharia law have to have male escorts Because if a male was to do something inappropriate, or they were to lose their virginity when they weren't supposed to, they're held responsible for that. That's why you have honor killings. The family will kill the daughter if she gets raped or something like that, because she no longer has her virginity. She's not worth marrying anymore. So they'll a lot of times kill the daughter to restore the family name because she had sex out of wedlock, even if it was a rape. But the woman can accuse rape, but if she doesn't have at least 1 or 2 male witnesses, can't bring rape charges because the female don't have any say in the courts.
And then will they
like
stone her for being a liar?
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
I'm not like I'm saying, I'm not an expert on
None
Islam.
of us are. None of us are.
I've studied. I'm really interested in this stuff in my personal time, so I've done a lot of reading and studying on this stuff. I also took a class in college that was theology on Western religions that was trying to be really sympathetic and gave me the best view of Islam possible. It was a school in Washington State. Very hostile towards Catholics. Very pro-Islam.
Yeah,
seems to be the way it is now.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like, for instance, I seen somebody today posted that they were like, just because, like, okay, we live in America, so obviously Christianity is the majority in America as far as religion goes, right? You know, but I've always said, why does Christianity get attacked so much and Islam never does? You know what I'm saying? From atheists or non-believers or anyone. You know what I mean? Like, if anybody's like, you can pull up the internet today and they're gonna be like, Christians, thoughts and prayers, like da 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 da. They're gonna talk so much negativity towards Christianity, but they never mention Islam. And I'm like, and like, you can get on and like, if you go on a trans person or a gay person's page, they're going to mainly be attacking Christianity, never Islam. And I'm like, Christianity is the only religion in the world that's like not trying to kill you. You know what I mean? They're going to forgive you. You know what I mean? But every other religion's like, you're an abomination and you should die. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand why
that's a cold-blooded God.
You have the beef with Christians, but if you like go move to Abu Dhabi, you know what I'm saying? Like, they'll throw you off a building over that gay stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, absolutely. You know what I mean? They'll cut your penis off. They'll mutilate you. They'll do anything.
Drag you behind a truck.
100%.
Yeah, they're fucking crazy.
And thank God we're in America where that doesn't happen, because I don't agree with it. But at the same time, I'm like, why are you attacking the one religion that actually has an inkling of acceptance? And I know that you grew up in America, and I'm sure you've had, especially if you grew up in the South, you probably had some pastor going, you're going to hell if you, you know, it was Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure you've heard those things. You know what I mean? And like, but try waking up in Abu Dhabi tomorrow. You know what I mean?
We have a man here. His name's Randall.
Hello.
My man Randall, and he's been across the world.
Yeah.
So you've seen the other side of things. I mean, how extreme is it over there?
It's
where were you?
So I did one deployment in Jordan, did another one in Korea. I lived in New York, Texas, Washington State, Colorado, Kentucky.
What's the religion in Jordan?
Muslim. They're all Palestinian Muslims.
I don't know the difference between Islam and Muslim.
Islam is the religion. People that practice Islam are Muslims.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what you were just saying? Can I take a stab at answering that? Why? Like, you see gays for Palestine, trans for Palestine. You see these flags now, and why they're so pro-Islam and anti-Christian. I think the answer is as simple as this. My stab at it. They look at every conflict. They look around the world and they say, what is more white? That must be evil. What is darker skin? That must be evil. And it's sad. I hate that we're there. But if you're white, you're seen as an oppressor immediately.
Damn it.
If you're not white, you're the oppressed.
Right.
So they look at every conflict. They see what happened on October 7th. And they go, well, sure, they raped and killed and mutilated a bunch of innocent teenagers at a dance party, but they are less white than Jewish people.
It's fucked up.
Right?
Fucked up.
And so immediately the Jews become the evil ones, right? Even though they were attacked, what was it like 2,000, 3,000 of them murdered that day. Another 200 kidnapped.
We're talking about the Hamas thing when they came
Yeah,
in?
yeah. I don't want to get too deep into that because we're going to get in trouble. But
Right.
Yeah. Well, hey, fuck them. You know what I mean? Like,
but
what's the worst that could happen? We go viral.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I think you're close. I think you're close with the stab you're taking, metaphorically. But what I've always said is nobody goes against a lie. People just want to go against the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody who's gonna fight a lie. Like that's a waste of fucking time. You know what I mean?
Well, what's weird is like this is the most uneducated person in the room to talk about this shit with, is because like when you say lie and truth and that shit, them people don't believe that it's a lie. Both sides believe.
No, well, I'm saying
right.
like, well, what he was talking about was the point I made about why do people attack Christianity but not Islam.
Okay.
And I don't want to sit here and be like Islam's this big lie because I don't want to get in trouble. You know what I'm saying? But my point is that coming from a place of with my beliefs, whether I practice what I preach or what, you know what I'm saying, is that nobody, if I say, all right, if I say, yo, Anthony's this or that, you know what I'm saying? And it's a lie. You probably won't give your time to it. You know what I'm saying?
More likely not.
But if I have truth in your face that makes you face who you are, then that makes you mad. That makes you want to fight against it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It puts
and
somebody in a non-comfort
is,
zone.
Yeah, and I think that's more what it is than just being like white. You know what I'm saying? Like, which Christianity is like tied to being a white religion, which is crazy to me because this shit, it started in Africa. You know what I'm saying? Which like one thing I've noticed is a lot of black people in this day and age, right? And I shouldn't speak on this because I'm white, but I'm going to. Will say like Christianity, the Bible was created to keep slaves in check. And I'm like, you realize that Christianity was in Africa before slavery, before the Europeans ever came there. You get what I'm saying?
Well, I never heard
That's facts.
that.
The Ethiopian Catholic Church is thriving. That Bible's older than the English
Ethiopian
Bibles.
church is one of the first churches in the world. You know what I'm saying? So like, how can you think the Europeans created this? You know what I'm saying? Like, no, they didn't. They may have used it in order to try to keep you at bay. Like, the Bible has been used in very salacious and malicious ways. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been used to enslave people. It's been used to keep people enslaved. Like, I won't refute that fact. The Bible has been perverted by many mouths and many people throughout history. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no refuting that fact. But there's also no refuting the fact that Europeans didn't make the shit up. You know what I'm saying? They didn't create it. Like, it goes back way farther than Europeans. Like, it goes back to like I said, it goes back to Africa. It goes back to, like, listen to all the towns that they're talking about. Like, you were in Jordan. Like, that's in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Jordan
this
River,
is,
right?
yeah, you know what I mean? Like, all that.
Who got baptized?
John the Baptist baptized Jesus Christ in the Jordan River. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to go
The
see
Good
it. It looks like a little
Samaritan.
puddle now.
Oh, yeah.
The Good Samaritan. Where is that?
I don't know. Jordan?
Damascus. Where is Damascus?
Don't know.
You know what I'm saying? It's all this stuff is Middle East.
Oh, yeah.
It started
And
with
it's Africa to the Middle East. Like, this is not a European religion. No matter how much they try to tell you it is.
Jesus Christ was a Jew. He was a Semite.
Right,
He was
right, I
from
did know that.
he was from that area. He's not white. And when after Pentecost, when Jesus appeared to his apostles, the Holy Spirit descended on him, and the apostles went out to spread their religion. One of the first places they went was into Africa. When they converted the Ethiopian on the road, I mean, the Ethiopian church has been thriving forever. And our bishop in Charleston of the Catholic Church is an African, Bishop Jock. I'm pretty sure he's from Africa. But what's crazy now is my side, the conservative Catholic side, that's fighting against, well, that doesn't really like the modernization and kind of liberal, what we see as liberalizing the Catholic Church, trying to bring the message to New Age stuff. A lot of what we're depending on is the African church because it's thriving there and they're keeping the faith and it's beautiful. Like I want If I had it my way, I'd have all African priests, all African bishops. Bring all of them over here because, I mean, the church is lively there. It's spreading like crazy there. Whereas Christianity's dying in America, it's thriving in Africa. And like he said, the Ethiopian Bible is older than the King James Bible.
Why have I never heard
The Africa's had it before England did.
I feel like I've
Because
never
they don't
heard
want
about
you to
this.
hear that.
Oh, all right, well, yeah, they win then because I never heard about
I
this.
mean, it's
shit
as
till
simple
tonight.
as that, really.
You ever read the book? I know. I think you have. You ever read the book The Shack?
Yep.
It's a really good book. I think you actually gave me the book. It's like one of the 5 books I've ever read in my life. And in that book, they describe Jesus as being like a Middle Eastern man. And I read it when I was probably 20, 22, something like that. And I was like, oh shit. Yeah. Then it started to click. Like, yeah, Jesus from the Middle East. Like, and it makes no sense for him to look like a white dude.
He wasn't.
He
wasn't European.
Actually,
I mean,
I think Pastor Eddie, shouts out Pastor Eddie. I think he's actually the one that told me, like, in the Bible it says like Jesus was ugly. Like he was not. They said he was not like easy to look at. He was like.
I think that says that
Not
he
becoming
wasn't
or
he
some
wasn't
shit.
drawing a bunch of followers because of his charisma, right?
yeah.
Stuff like that. Like, I mean, it was a lot of charisma because he was speaking truth to people,
Right.
And everybody has this like hippy dippy image of Jesus that he was out there
Yeah.
telling everybody what they wanted to hear. Nah, he told you, he's like, I didn't come to bring peace. I brought a sword. Like, I'm going to tell you about yourself and what you should be doing, and people followed him. You know, like he said, like back then people were thirsty for the truth.
Yeah, it was weird because like that class that I mentioned when they talk about Islam, Muslim, all that shit, they touched on the Christianity thing and the Catholic thing and the Jew thing and the Islam thing, and it was kind of interesting, but I feel bad being biased about some of it because I was like, man, I believe some of this shit so much, but some of it I'm like, I don't really know about all that shit. But in the class they kind of go on to be like, when the world started getting kind of fucked up is when people stopped depending on religion because like way back in the day, like people were dependent on religion like when they didn't have shit. They were like, damn, we need the God to bring rain because we're not growing shit. Oh, we need God to do this, and like they like heavily depended on the church and religion and shit. But then once civilization got a little bit more modern, they were like, then you started getting like these free thinkers, and then get witches, and they call them witches because they believed in the stars and the moon and the science, and they got burned at the stake for that shit. It was a pretty interesting little course.
I used to think like that too. Like it was the stupid older people that didn't know as much as we know now. And then you read some of these older guys that were devout. Read some Augustine. Read some St. Thomas Aquinas. They're a million times smarter than anybody I've heard in any college class I've been to. And I've been to a lot of them. These guys aren't stupid. You know what I mean? And that was part of my journey too is, well, I thought, we're just too smart nowadays. We know better. And then you go read some of these old guys, and no, they're not stupid.
Nah, definitely not. And that's what they try to portray as. But, just the last point, and we'll move off of the religious talk. We said we weren't going to get into this rabbit hole. That's fine, though. It's always fun. People might hate it. They might love it, but whatever. When you talking about Jesus, like, whenever he went somewhere, like, it's and not to compare him to like Tupac, but it's kind of the same vein. It's like if somebody needs to be told that they're pompous and they don't know everything, then that's what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? Like if he walked into the market and they're making a mockery of the Lord, then he's flipping tables. You know what I'm saying? But if he walks into a den of thieves and these boys need grace and mercy and to see that people love them, then he showed that. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't mean that he approved of this or you know what I'm saying? It wasn't, it's like the truth doesn't have a side. You know what I mean? And that's what I hate about today is that you got to pick a side. We talked about this on the last pod. Is you have to pick this side or that side, right and wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like the truth is the truth. You know what I'm saying? And I think people get that twisted. They because a lot of people will be like you said, this new age stuff where they're like, well, he ate with sinners and prostitutes and this and that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yeah, but that's what they needed.
Yeah, that's
And then what did he say after? He said, repent.
Yeah, but
he would bring them in, and then he would say, repent, turn from your ways. Stop, sin no more. Go, sin no more. That's what he would say.
That's what he said. I think there's some kind of comparison about what good is a candle in a room full of lights. Like You need a candle in the darkness to guide you to the light. If we're all just being an echo chamber of positivity and this and that, then they're not learning anything at that table. They're the ones
My
that need
favorite
it.
quote you just put me on made me think of is there's not enough darkness in the world to snuff the light of a single candle.
Maybe that's what I was thinking about.
One candle burning, you can bring all the darkness in the whole universe and it can't snuff that single light. And that's why you have
Cheers to my homie
be the
Jesus.
light, baby, be the light.
Y'all ever realize? Not realize. I just had this. I kind of had this dawn on me today. Like I don't feel old. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am old. I'm getting there, for sure. But, like, you ever feel like, man, I ain't really that old until you see some young kids doing some young kid shit, and you be like, what the fuck are they doing that for? And you realize, damn, I used to do that shit, too. Mm-hmm. Damn, I done got fucking old out this bitch.
I thought about it the other day rapping. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, I'm 30, whatever. I'm, like, still rapping. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Somebody
I feel
asks you your
it
age,
makes
you
me
gotta
feel
think
that
about
way,
it.
too.
Like,
You know?
what year is it?
Yeah,
What time
but
is it?
I don't know. I think that R. Kelly and Aaliyah said age ain't nothing but a number. So
They did say that. That was kind of fucked up. Especially because R. Kelly in the background of that photo of that album cover, like, yeah.
Shout out R. Kelly.
Shouts out R. Kelly. I don't know.
We had what branch of the military were you in?
Army.
Army.
Mm-hmm.
All right. RJ was a Marine.
RJ was a Marine.
And he's about your age.
I think he's a little bit older than us.
Just a little bit, like 2 years maybe.
Yeah,
I think
we're
he's like
all,
40.
I think we're all in the same thing. I think he's like 40. RJ was a good episode.
But I asked him too, did 9/11 have anything to do with what made you join, or you just were in a spot where you had to get out and do something? Or you might have been, I mean, you might have been too young for 9/11, really.
When 9/11 hit, I
Not
was
too young. I'm
too
saying
young to
like
join.
he wasn't.
Yeah.
He
Probably
couldn't
14,
join
15 when that
like.
shit happened.
I was a freshman, I think.
Yeah, so was I.
think
So like it's not like he could go out the next day and join because of 9/11. A lot of people did.
Yeah, RJ
but
did.
I wish I could say it was. I wasn't very patriotic back then. I was running, trying to get high,
right.
trying to get messed up. I wasn't even thinking about anything like that. I remember I got sucked into that whole Loose Change documentary about how 9/11 was an inside job and all this.
yeah.
I went down the
It was.
conspiracy route.
It was.
Jet fuel don't burn like that.
Come on. It was.
Jet fuel don't burn and melt steel.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I disagree, but so no, I wish I could say it was like a patriotic love of country thing. No, it was actually when the economy went into recession, and I was working installing hardwood floors at the time, making hardly any money, and our work cut down from 5 days a week to 1 day a week to twice every 2 weeks, maybe if I, once every 2 weeks if I was lucky. And I had my daughter was about to be 2. She was actually 1 year old at this time. And I had to do something, and the guy I was working for and my brother agreed they were going to go in the military. And I was like, well, I'll go with y'all. No problem. And a year later, because I had to get a bunch of waivers through because I had drug charges. And so it took me forever. It took me a year to actually for them to let me join. I had to drive down to Jacksonville and meet with Colonel Wolf. I'll never forget that. He was like the head of the regional recruiting office.
Nice.
To get a waiver. I drove all the way down to Jacksonville. I waited in the waiting room for 2 hours. I walked in finally. He said, don't sit down. So I didn't sit down. I stood there. And he said, what do you want to do in my army? And I was like, well, I was thinking. He said, whatever we tell you to do. And I was like, yes, sir. And he was like, all right, you can get in.
What's your sole purpose in this army?
Turn around, drove all the way back. Yeah. Turned around, drove all the way back to Charleston, and finally got in. And I was the only one that went out of the 3. I was the one that.
Damn, they flamed on you.
Yeah,
dude?
they left. Yeah,
Hit you with the okey doke.
They were like, never mind. And
They
they
wanted to fire you, but they didn't have the heart.
Yeah, pretty
They
much.
were like, hey, let's all join the army. Wink, wink.
I wasn't good at hardwood floors, bro. Anyway, so yeah, I joined. My daughter was about to be 2, so it was an opportunity. Yeah, I had to go make a life. I didn't know anything about the world. Like, life had been just chaos to this point, really. And
Why do you think that is? I mean, you don't have to speak on it, but what made it chaotic, I guess?
start at the beginning. I'll just
Yeah,
go back.
yeah,
Let's do
I
it.
mean-
All right. So I was born in New York, upstate New York, on a military base, Army base, Fort Drum. My My parents, actually, I was born in Germany. We moved to Fort Drum when I was young. Parents met in the Army. And the oldest memories I have of my childhood was my dad just beating the hell out of my mom. So a lot of that, he was a drunk. I remember he was taking me to Cub Scouts one time and drunk as hell and hit a big snow bank. You know how they shovel snow in New York when they plow it and they put it in the big banks?
Mm-hmm. On the side of the road, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't wearing a seatbelt sitting in the front seat. I was probably 2-3 years old.
Damn.
And he smashed into that. I hit the windshield. And then my mom got mad at him for driving me drunk. And so he proceeded to like beat her head against the wall a bunch of times, bloody her all up. I'm like 2-3 years old at this time. Yeah. So I'm not saying I had it like worse than anybody. I'm not trying to say that. But it was.
No, your story's your story.
Yeah.
You can't compare stories. Like I said,
That's pretty fucked up.
It is.
To say the least.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then so that went on for a while. My dad ends up getting out the Army. My mom was out of the Army by the time we got to New York. She gets out of the Army. They both get out of the Army. My dad moves me in with one of his drinking buddies from the Army in Middletown, New York.
Moves him into your house?
No, we move into this guy's house.
You, your mom, and your dad?
Me, my mom, my dad, and my older sister at this point. And I think my brother was born by now or was about to be born. My little brother, Corey. So, moving to this house, this dude's got 2 older sons. End up getting abused by one of the sons there, right? When I'm real young. The only reason I want to touch on this is, I remember the older son, the 16 or 17-year-old one, caught him doing it. It happened like twice. I was like 3 or 4. I don't remember much about this time, but I remember the bad stuff. It's funny how that works, right?
Yeah, well, that
How
shit
you
gets
felt?
burnt in.
How you felt, man? It
shit gets
is.
burned
No
in.
matter what you were doing, remember how you felt.
So the older brother catches him, and he's like, I'm telling. And I remember we went to the pool that night, and so the brother ends up telling my mom, thank God, right? And my mom's like, well, I'm going to tell your father. Now I'm freaking out, right? This dude's going to beat the hell out of me or whatever, you know? So I'm swimming in a little kiddie pool with a little 2-foot kiddie pool. And my dad gets over there and he walks up and him and my mom are talking and they're just looking at me, right? And I remember my dad just looking at me like that, you know, like disgust. And like, I just remember feeling like so much like shame about that, you know?
Yeah.
And I didn't even know what was going on at the time. I just knew that like, oh, I was a disgrace now. You know what I'm saying? Like that, you know? So then my parents end up divorcing. My dad leaves my mom for another woman. When I was 5 years old, he takes off. We move down here into my grandparents' house. And my grandma hated my dad, right? So my whole life.
Your mom's mom.
Sounds like a good
My
woman.
mom's mom. Yeah, no doubt.
They
she
know.
should have hated him.
They know.
They know.
But the problem was, my grandma's an angel. I love this woman. She helped raise me. She's a great woman. She drink constantly. She's an Irish Catholic from South Boston, Irish ghetto. Just
My kind of woman.
all the way turned up, man. Like
My kind of woman.
Like this woman was incredible, you know. But when she would drink, she would drink screwdrivers starting at like noon, and by 6-7 o'clock she's lit. And then you know, my dad's a pig and an a-hole, and I'm a future a-hole and a future pig.
Oh, well, that's fucked up, Granny.
And then get drunk.
You look just like him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
crap, right?
Yeah.
And you ain't never gonna be and all, you know. And so I heard a lot of that. And then she'd put me in the car sometimes and drive me around just trash, hitting mailboxes, and I always like didn't understand why my mom would let that stuff go on, you know. And she would try to say something, but my grandma was so alpha, man. I'm telling you,
Alpha.
there was
man.
no stopping her, you know.
Damn it.
And yeah, so it was a lot of that. And I just remember I was never comfortable since then, like through all that, I was never comfortable with just being me. You know what I mean? I always wanted to be somebody else, right? Or something else. And then I found drugs. And then it was cool. Like I went from like a straight A student trying to just impress everybody and always being told you ain't nothing anyway, you're gonna be your daddy anyway, right? To saying, F it. I found drugs, I can just get high all the time. This is about 6th grade. In between 6th and 7th grade. And so I just stayed messed up all the time. I found something that I was good at, and I thought I could fit in with other people just doing that, you know? So I'm pretty much just smoking weed all the time by this point.
Is that what you were good at?
That was what I was good at, yeah.
Yeah.
I could smoke.
Yeah,
I found something, you know?
Yeah.
And it immediately like, well, if I had a bunch of weed, people wanted to be around me.
Ain't it funny how that happens?
It's funny, yeah. All of a sudden, man, I got people offering to give me rides places, you know, hang out at the house. I always had people around, you know. It was cool. And my mom was never home at this point. We had moved into a house around the corner from my grandma's. And my mom worked full time, went to school full time. And so we had the house to ourselves from 6 in the morning till 9 at night.
Damn. Yeah.
And
That's a bad age to have
Oh,
it like
dude.
that, dude.
Yeah, it was all the way turned up.
I can relate.
And yeah, so me and my brother are just getting tore up all the time. Like it started with, you know, I was doing it and I was like, well, you're not going to tell on me, so you got to do it too.
Everybody got to be guilty.
Yeah, everybody got to be guilty, right?
So at this point, sorry, not to cut you off, but at this point, how much is your dad in your life?
Not at all.
Not at all. Okay.
Yeah, from the time that split when I was like 5 or 6, I maybe talked to him 1 or 2 times until I was like 12 or 13. He would pop up every now and then, like a phone call, and you know, I'm gonna send you guys stuff. I'm gonna do
Did
this.
that ever reconcile or no?
Yeah. We talk now.
Okay.
He's clean now. He's been in AA for I think he's got like 16, 17 years sober now.
Okay.
But
Well,
he still smokes weed and stuff. But he's sober from alcohol.
marijuana is not a drug.
For most people, I
Here
agree.
for some marijuana.
I've always not to derail it, but I've always just said that a drug is anything that keeps you from being like, you know what I mean, like. If you got a problem with coffee and coffee's making you not take care of your kids and not go to work and not, you know what I'm saying, like then you need to stay away from it. You know what I'm saying? And that, sex, you know, there's sex addicts. There's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Just a little segue, just a little tidbit is like, if anything deters you from just being a good person and handling your responsibilities, then that probably ain't something you should mess with. You know?
I agree 100%. And with my personality, I'm so addicted to everything. Like I found Coca-Cola when I got sober. I found Coca. I didn't ever even drink sodas. All we had at my house was like the knockoff grape soda or the knockoff orange soda.
Shit
and
was
Kool-Aid,
fire
right?
though.
Yeah.
Shit was
I got-
fire though.
I got introduced to Coca-Cola when I got clean. I was like 20. I was like 30 at this point. August 25th, 2016.
Damn, why'd they take the real shit out of this?
Yeah, right.
The real Coke.
I drink a Coca-Cola at a restaurant. First time, I was
Yeah.
like, wow, this is amazing, you know. And then, you know, I gained like 40 pounds in like a year because now I'm addicted to Coca-Cola.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's everything with
Because
me.
we
It's
got
sex.
old.
It's sex. It's anything that changes the way I feel. It's Wild Cherry Pepsi recently got me. I had to get off that.
Yeah.
That was a hard one to kick.
Right.
That shit's so fire.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard for people who, cause I've got like my whole family is addicts. You know what I'm saying? And it's weird because it skips people. You know, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like there's like, you know, this aunt has 3 kids and like. One of them's a fucking scholar, like could have went to Harvard and like has all their shit together, and then like the other 2 are fuck ups. You know what I'm saying? Like completely, and like they got the same genes. They grew up the same way. You know what I'm saying? So like addiction doesn't like. It's weird. Like it just it grabs a hold of somebody, and like you said, like it could be something simple as Wild Cherry Pepsi. You know what I mean? It's like. It's me. Like I've been trying to lose weight. You know what I mean? I lost 50 pounds like a year and a half ago. And I just got like super. I had to like make myself addicted to being like.
Yeah, that's
You know what
I'm
I
the
mean?
same
Like-
way. I have to obsess.
And it sucks
Yeah.
because I wish I had like an addict. Sometimes you wish you had an addictive personality. You know what I mean? Because I don't. So like anything that like anything in me that I want to do religiously or addictively, like I have to force myself to do because I don't have that like gene in me that could just like attach to something and
Have
be like,
you ever,
this is me, this is what I do, and I do it religiously
Like
every
the
day.
gym.
Like yeah,
like people that live in the
Yeah.
people that are like, yo, I have to go to the gym today. I'm like, God bless you, bro.
Right.
Have you heard about? I'm sure we all have heard about it, but ice baths, like that's the
Yeah.
new thing, dude.
Yeah.
Not doing that.
Fuck that
Yeah.
shit. I
not
went.
doing that.
I went to just like wash my
I've been
face this
wanting to do
morning.
it, though,
and,
just
and-
to-
yeah, but
Yeah.
dude, I went to wash my face this morning, and the water was taking forever to get warm, and I had to go because I was kind of in a rush. I had to wash my face with cold water. Yeah, fuck that shit. I couldn't imagine having dunking my whole body in 36-degree water
Right,
for
right.
7 minutes. Just be
Nah,
like,
I couldn't do
this
it.
is so healthy. I don't give a
Yeah.
fuck, dude. I ain't getting in that shit.
I'm doing a program right now called Exodus 90, and part of it is cold showers. But we trimmed it down to only cold showers on Friday. So every Friday I have to take a cold shower.
How's
It
that?
just started last week, and
is
it was
it?
no, it was brutal.
I
It
could
was-
do cold showers, but cold ice bath, that's different.
I did the
Well,
ALS
I
challenge
know
and
we
it hurt.
pivoted, but all right. So we, like you grew up with you moved to your grandma's and started getting into drugs in the 6th grade. All right. So like give us the short version of how you ended up deciding to go to the military, and then where that took you, and how that helped you or hurt you.
Yeah, so I'm doing nothing with my life at all. I can't even keep people around me because the people that were around me were fake. They just, if I had drugs, they were there. If I
Right.
didn't, they weren't there. And I was so selfish that like I didn't want people around me that I couldn't use either. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm pretty jealous that you guys have been friends since like high school and stuff. I was never like that because I was just focused on me all the time. Like I have to get the next high always, and so the real friends I had that didn't get into the drugs, that I had best friends, at that time, and they all just kind of separated once I started going way off the rails, So anyway, I was always like, cocaine is the one thing I'm not going to touch. Like, I won't touch that. Smoking weed, not a drug, all cool. But
Right.
like you said, I couldn't
Right.
even function with weed. Like, I wouldn't even go to school. I'd wake up, roll a blunt, smoke it, and be like, not going to
Not
school.
doing shit
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
Same
Yeah.
shit.
So I had, I think I had like 42 unexcused absences my last semester of senior year. They let me graduate anyway.
Damn it.
It was like I used to cut school all the time, stop going, and it was crazy because, like, I had opportunities to do something with the education stuff. Like I wasn't stupid, but I just like stopped caring at all. And so then I got introduced to cocaine and stuff, and I was like, here's why I say maybe it is a gateway drug for some people, because I was like, well, I'm
Weed or
already
cocaine?
Weed.
Okay.
Because I'm like, at this point, I'm like, in my mind, I justify it. I'm like, I can do cocaine because I'm already doing a drug anyway. I'm already doing illegal stuff. What's the difference, right?
Yeah.
So I try cocaine, fall in love with that. Try ecstasy, I fall in love with that. Try oxys, fall in love with that. So then I'm like, I gotta stop trying stuff, right?
Everything I try, I love.
I love. So I never. Well, I can't say never, but for a long time I didn't touch heroin or nothing like that. I was like, I can't try that, right? And I'd always say like, well, at least I'm not smoking crack. At least I'm not doing heroin, so I'm better
Yeah,
than these people.
always.
Yeah, keep myself sick.
All drug addicts would be
Yeah.
like, all drug addicts are like,
I'm still better than them.
yeah. Oh, if they're a crackhead, they're like, well, meth's way worse than crack. I'm not like, look at these meth heads out here
Taking apart lawnmowers.
scratching shit, stealing catalytic converters. Yeah, for sure.
And so just like every drug addict, I go, well, if only I can get out of here and change my location, I'd be better.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't know anybody, right? So I joined the Army, and it's cool, man. I excel. I love basic training. I love AIT, and all that is so strict and disciplined. There is no drugs. There is no alcohol. There's just the camaraderie is crazy. Like, I really fit in well.
Did you feel like you got addicted to the discipline?
Yeah. Yeah, honestly.
I felt that way in college.
Because I was so lost, man. Like, I didn't have a parent there telling me, do this now, do this now, do this now. It was like, it was an open world, right? You ever get into an open world video game and you just look at the map and you go, that's too big and I don't know where to start this, and turn it off and never play it again? Right? That was like me every day. Like, I had no idea where I was going. I didn't think about the future. And when I did, it just made me want to get high because that's too scary, right? No idea what I'm going to do. You go in the Army and it's everything. Like, you're going to be here at this time. We'll come get you. You ain't going to be late. Then we're going here. Then we're going. It was very structured. I didn't have to think, and I like that. I found something that, like, finally where I was like, I'm here, and I can do this, and then slowly the discipline starts to relax some. When you get out of basic, AIT is slightly less relaxed. And it's crazy because I always seem to find the people that I don't need to be around. So we get one pass. We get our first pass like 3 weeks into AIT, which is where you learn your job.
What's AIT stand for?
Advanced Individual Training. Okay. So it's where you're going to learn your job. Okay. So I'm like 3 weeks into this, and we get a pass. We're supposed to stay on base and stay in uniform. We have to go with a battle buddy. Everywhere you go in the Army, you got to have a battle buddy, right? Mm-hmm. You go in twos just in case something happens. You know, you guys are together. This guy is like, we're changing into civilian clothes. We're going off base. We're going to a strip club. And I was like, okay.
Damn right we are.
Damn right, yeah.
I found my battle buddy.
Yeah. So we go.
Jeff was like, hey, I need that battle buddy.
My saddle buddy, we gonna get a ride.
So I was like, okay, I'll ride, you know?
Yeah.
He's like, I got the taxi, I got everything. Don't worry about it. I was like, cool. He's like, just sneak your civilian clothes under your uniform. We'll take it off when we get off base. I'm like, okay. We drive an hour and a half to Richmond. We're supposed to be on base. This is a day pass. We're supposed to be back by
north
6.
Of Richmond?
Yeah. So we go to Richmond, Virginia to a strip club. And we're having a good time getting drunk. I'm getting hammered. We're not supposed to drink. We're not supposed to smoke cigarettes. We're doing both of those things. And we're an hour and 10 minutes away when we ain't supposed to leave the base, right? This dude, we get in the cab to go home, okay? And I'm sitting in the back seat. He's on the other window. And next thing I know, he turns blue and passes out against the window. And I'm like, what the hell?
Battle buddy.
Cab driver starts freaking out. I'm pulling over. I'm calling 911 and dropping y'all off. I'm not doing this. Drops us off on the side of the highway. This dude is foaming at the mouth, blue, head like slumped. Yeah. Ambulance gets there. They put him in the back of the ambulance. I'm standing on the side of the highway. And they come out and they go, what were y'all doing? And I was like, we were at the strip club. We drank, smoked cigarettes. They go, nah. We hit him with Narcan and he woke right up. So what were y'all doing? And I was like, I wasn't doing anything. Like, I don't know what y'all are talking about. Of course, the first battle buddy I pick on my first day pass.
ODs on your ass.
ODs on heroin that he bought from a stripper at the club in Richmond. And now I got to go back to, they take him to the hospital now. And I have to stay with him. So now I'm on the phone with first sergeant and commanders of the base and all this stuff. Because my battle buddy had a heroin overdose on our first day pass when we weren't supposed to leave base and we're an hour away. Right? I made horrible decisions. Okay, I'm not going to act like trouble just found me, right? I made horrible decisions. I picked this dude as a battle buddy. I kind of knew he was crazy. I think he was from New York, but he was a wild guy. So anyway.
You didn't make that bad of a decision that night. I made way worse decisions.
Bro, yeah, he made bad decisions. So we get to the hospital, whatever. I'm on the phone with the commanders and the first sergeants and all that stuff, and they're like, well, did you do anything? I said, no. They said, well, you're both going to get drug tested when you get back. If you fail it, you're going to be gone. I said, I know. I passed mine. He failed his. And he still made it in the Army. They didn't care at that point. They needed people.
We need bodies.
Yeah. I think he still made it at AIT, actually. But I never went off base with him again.
Oh, shit. Fuck that.
Yeah, right.
Hey, First Sergeant, I need a new battle buddy. Mine's broken.
Yeah. But anyway, what I was going to say is, like, I managed to stay drug-free. I was in the Army for 6 years. I managed to stay drug-free for, like, 5.5 of them. You know? And, but like an addict, I would just drink so much. Like, I went in with, I would drink beer, but mainly just smoke weed. And by the time I came out of the Army, I was an alcoholic all the way. Yeah. Like, on deployments, didn't really drink that much, but as soon as I got home, it was like, I'm making up time now. Well, I lost all this chance to drink, so I got to make it all up now. And it got bad. And then one of my deployments, my NCOIC, who became a really good friend of mine, he was an E6 and I was an E4 at the time, so he was in charge of me. He was our little platoon leader and our squad leader. And he's telling me the whole time, you ever do cocaine? You know, as soon as we get over there, you ever do cocaine? I was like, yeah, I liked it a lot. He's like,
cocaine.
He's like, you ever shoot it? I was like, what do you mean, with a needle? And he was like, yeah. I was like, nah, I just snorted. I don't mess with no needles. He's like, bro, if you try it one time with the needle, you'll want everything you ever snorted up your nose back. And put it in that way. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So for 9 months, we're over there, and this guy is just telling me how wonderful this is, right? And so, probably 3-4 months into this deployment, I'm like, dude, I can't wait to get home.
Yeah.
I'm trying it.
I'm trying
it. Yeah. So get home, and immediately I go on leave. I come home. I tell my brother, I said, listen, man, I gotta try the needle. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. I'm like, nah, I really want to do that. He's like, no, you don't. Trust me. I was like, no, I do. And he's like, you sure? I was like, yeah. He's like, all right, we'll do it then. So now I got 30 days to leave, and me and my brother are just, half ounce, 8 balls at a time.
Damn it.
Half the time we're doing half Roxy's, half Coke.
Damn it.
We're speedballing. We're going crazy. You know what I'm saying? And by this point, like, I'm hooked, dude. Hooked. And we're living in Texas at this time. And I have a young one on the way now. I have 2 already.
You have another one coming?
And another one coming.
God damn.
And now I'm
at
hooked,
this point.
bro.
Oh, I thought we were talking about now. I was like, this motherfucker gonna have a
give
me a few months.
Stay in the story.
football team.
Yeah. Follow the story.
All right, so I met my wife now in the Army at Fort Hood right before this deployment, and I
He was
immediately
at Fort Hood when they shot that bitch up.
when did they shoot it up?
Dallas, right?
No,
Yeah.
they shot up Fort Hood, but I think I came there right after that.
Okay.
Actually,
Fort Worth is Dallas.
Yeah, Fort
Yeah.
Worth is Dallas. Yeah,
But Fort Hood, some dude went
Shot up
AWOL
all the cops
shot
and shit.
up.
yeah, that was bad. He killed like 32 people, I think.
Crazy.
man.
Anyway,
Anyway, so I got a young wife now. I'm 27, 26, 27 at this point, and she's 18, about to be 19.
fucking Leonardo DiCaprio.
Anyway, I fell for this girl before we left, so I pretty much told my ex-wife now at this time, like, we're done. And that marriage was doomed to fail from the beginning. I married her, or we got together when I was really young. She got pregnant.
That's what you tell yourself? No, I'm just
It was bad.
I'm joking.
Yeah. Like I don't
Totally
want to
joking.
I don't want to sit here and like dunk on her like it's all her fault because I was a piece of crap at this point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
That's a real man.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna brush past her. I was a piece of crap. The marriage was doomed from the start. We weren't serious at all. She got pregnant. I was like, well, I don't want to be like my dad. I got to be there. So I married her. We had another kid. It was this disaster all the way through. So it was pretty much over when I left. She, I don't want to dunk on her, so we're gonna get into details on her. But anyway, so I meet this girl on deployment, who's my wife now, who's amazing. Young, beautiful, she's Catholic, and that's where I wanted to be. That's where I was raised, cradle Catholic. I didn't live up to my values, right? Mm-hmm. And I wasn't living or practicing my religion, obviously. But anyway, so she's young, she's beautiful, she's Catholic, she loves me. I'm like, this is it, If now that I got this girl, I'll definitely stay clean, right? This will solve all the problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got a young one on the way, and now I'm just banging Coke and Roxy's with needles constantly, And I'm like, well, once I get back in the Army, I can't do that anymore. So now I'm just doing it on Friday night. So drug test Monday, I should be good. Well, then it bleeds into Saturday. Then I'll stop Sunday night. I'm sure there's no drug test, Somehow I made it all the way through that last few months in the Army without getting popped. It was sketchy, though. Like, I'd show up Monday in formation, and I'd have, like, Elmer's glue bottle with somebody's pee in it.
Yeah. Trust me, I know the feeling, bro. I'm not in the Army, but yeah, I know the feeling.
Knowing I ain't getting away with that because they watch you,
Right.
But, yeah, I was freaking out, paranoid all the time, just... Anyway, so now me and the NCO, we're back together too at Fort Hood, and so I go to his house or he come to my house, and we're medics in the Army, so we got all kind of cool stuff. So we'd put catheters in ourselves, so we don't have to keep hitting the needles.
Yeah,
we could just juice it through the catheter. We were getting real fancy with it.
Wow, dude,
it was bad. And I'm drinking a 30 rack of beer a night.
Damn.
I'd buy a half gallon of military special whiskey, and that would last 2 or 3 days because the beer wasn't working no more. I'm doing so much coke. So I'm doing all this for a while. Like I get out the Army, and then it just goes out of control. So I get all this money getting out the Army, right? They pay you for all your leave. I told them I was moving back to South Carolina, so they paid me for that. I didn't go nowhere. I stayed in Texas with my wife, who was still in the Army, And so, oh no, they got me back. Don't worry. Yeah. They wanted receipts. I didn't have them. So I would drain our bank account all the time. Anyway, let me fast forward a little bit. So now we got two kids together and 2 of mine. So we got 4 kids now, right? And so now it's really out of control. So I've been going crazy, you know. Covered in track marks. I'm ate up like bad. And it got to the point where like I was draining our bank account, and I would tell her like, oh, I'm gonna run to the store and get diapers or cigarettes and be gone for 5-6 days.
Oh, the old going to cigarette store. Got him again.
Going to get some milk.
Yeah. Damn, them damn cigarettes must be far away from daddy.
And I remember vividly, man, like I would come home and she would just be like, why, you know? And she would never yell at me. You know, that's what was crazy. Yeah.
It's the worst. I'd rather you yell.
Just yell at me. And she would just sit there and go, I love you. Like, I want you to get better. Like, what do we got to do? And I would break down, dude. I would. And I'd look at my kids. I'd look at my wife, and I would break down. And I remember being in the shower, and she would just stand there, and she would watch me just to make sure I wouldn't leave again right away.
Yeah.
And I would promise her, and I would mean it 100%. Never going to happen again. I'm done. 4 hours later, I'm right back out the door, man. I couldn't stop. And that's what I remember about it, like, just being so hopeless to this stuff. Like, I couldn't.
Are you still in the Army at this time?
Huh?
You're still in the Army at this time?
No, this is when I'm out. So I got out in 2015. This is about 2016, early 2016. So one time, in August of 2016, I tell her I'm going to get diapers, and I'm gone 4 days, right? And I'm at this crack hotel, right? Real classy joint, you know?
Yeah.
Roaches everywhere, prostitutes everywhere, crackheads everywhere. You know, and I got a bunch of drugs in a room, you know, and I'm just chilling. And I remember, like, I ran out of money, ran out of drugs, and I'm sitting on the front. And this is how bad I was, too. When I left, I would steal her phone just so she couldn't call me because I didn't want to be bothered.
Damn. Nice. Nice move.
Bruh.
Strategy.
Modern problems require modern solutions.
Bro, it was bad.
Can't call me with no phone.
So I'm there for like 4 days, same clothes. I didn't bring clothes or nothing, you know. Same clothes, dirty as
Nobody
craps.
plans on staying gone for 4 days, right?
Bro, yeah. No, it starts as like, I'll be gone for a few hours. Nah.
Should I go with diapers?
No,
Baby was wrapped in a towel or something. Yeah.
Yeah, we're Catholic. We do. We wash the diapers.
That's right.
We
The
got
cloth
cloth diapers.
Yeah. But I remember I was sitting out there. It'd been day 4. I'm sitting out in the sun. I ain't got no money for the room, and I'm like, well, I can't call her, right?
She ain't got no phone.
Yeah. And so I'm sitting there, and I remember looking over, and there was a really heavy set prostitute, and she had like her all the business on the streets, you know, looking dirty and nasty. And I was like, well, at least I'm not that.
Yeah.
Then I heard the voice clear as day. You are just like that. You are just like them.
Absolutely.
You're right next to her.
And that's when the realization set in right there. And I was like, oh. And I went and plugged into my cell phone to the car charger. And right when I plugged it in and it turned on, I got a call. I answer it, and it's my wife. She's on one of her friend's phone, and they're driving around looking for me. And I'm like, here, this is where I am. Come get me. She comes and gets me. Little did I know, she had already called my mom and my dad, and they were both going to fly in, and they were planning an intervention for the next day or for whenever I got home. And when I heard that voice, like, no, you are just like them, something clicked, you know? And I really was, I think, done at that point. Didn't know how I was going to do that, but I really wanted to be done at this point. So I get home, and she's like, well, I've been looking into it. There's NA meetings, and your mom's coming into town. She wants to check you into rehab. And I was like, I'm willing. Like, let's go. You know, I'll go right now. She goes, well, do you want to check out this NA meeting tonight? And I said, yeah. So get home, shower, change my clothes, take a little nap. Excuse me. And we hit this NA meeting, and it changed my life. Like, I swear it did. So the first thing is I go in there, and it's a bunch of people sharing their stories, right? And they sounded just like where I was.
Right.
Talking about how they couldn't stop. they wanted to stop so bad, but they kept, it was the same kind of, we're all different, but with addicts, man, we're all kind of the same. Like, yeah, we just we're that powerlessness, that they talk about. Like, you can't stop it. And they were all clean. And some of them talking about, I'm 13 years clean. I'm 16 years clean. I heard like 6 months clean, and I was like, what? Like, you didn't do nothing for 6 months. I don't believe you, like, at first. But then I was like, wow, like, it's possible. And then they did this reading at the end. I'll never forget it. And it said, when at the end of the road, we find that we can no longer function as a human being, either with or without drugs. We all face the same dilemma. What is there left to do? There seems to be this alternative. Either go on as best we can to the bitter end, jails, institutions, or death, or find a new way to live, right? I heard that, and I was like, and then they said, right after that, it's like, in years gone by, very few addicts ever had this last chance. People that are addicted today are more fortunate, For the first time in man's entire history, a simple way has been proven itself in the lives of many addicts. It's a simple, spiritual, non-religious program known as Narcotics Anonymous. Welcome home, right?
Welcome home.
And it blew my mind, right? I was like, wow. It's spiritual. They're all talking about a higher power. They're not talking about God, right? Because I'm a cradle Catholic. I had read the Bible, been to church every Sunday when I was a kid, got all my sacraments. I'm like, that can't heal me, because if it could heal me, I would already been there. Maybe this will, And so I keep going back every night, and it's amazing. I get a sponsor. I start working some of the steps, and then I got clean, I think, the first time on August 15th of 2016. Relapsed once on the 25th, or the 24th. 24th, I relapsed. I go off base. I think I had just got, it may have been, I got clean the first time the 14th and relapsed the 24th or something. I just got like a 2 week or a 1 week pin keychain, right. And I was about to get a 2 week clean chain, and messed it up. I went out, used one more time, drank one beer. Was like, this ain't even worth it. It didn't even feel the same anymore.
Didn't feel right?
Didn't feel right. Yeah. Drove immediately back home. First, woke my wife up. I was like, hey, I just relapsed. She was like, why'd you do that? I was like, I don't know, because I'm stupid. She goes, well, how do you feel? I said, like, it ain't worth it. Like, I'm ready to do this for real now. So then 25th, 25th is my actual clean date. That's the first day I didn't use all the way and stayed that way. So it's going on, 7 years now.
When did you start trying it? Or when did you start, like, the college
Yeah,
thing?
So I got clean in 2016, and then I started working for a landscaping company or something, and I cut grass for a while, and I was like, that was fun. I don't know, I like doing that stuff. Like,
yeah, man.
You know that instant gratification? I'm an addict.
Yeah, dude.
Instant gratification is cool to me. When you push a lawnmower, you see your work immediately.
It's rewarding.
It is rewarding, right? So I do that for a while. I like it. But then I'm like, I got to do something else. My wife's still in the military. She's like going field problems and downrange. I'm raising all the kids. Like I'm taking care of the kids during the day, And I'm like, I got to do something at night. And she goes, well, you should go to college. And I said, okay, well, what am I going to do? She's like, I don't know.
One of the hardest things there is to fucking do. Go to engineering school.
Well, because like my whole life it's been like, well, I want my family to like, I don't know, like respect me,
Oh yeah.
And so I'm thinking about what I'm gonna do. I'm terrible at math. I was in high school.
You're all right.
I mean, I guess.
You're all right.
In high school, I made it to algebra 2, like, and at half the time I didn't even show up, and I got like a 70 because I didn't do homework.
Because that's public education for you.
Yeah, it was bad. But I was like, engineer. People hear that, they respect it.
It's heavy, man.
My family will not disrespect me if I have an engineering degree, right? Yeah. Wrong. No,
wrong.
Wrong.
So let me kind of interject. So I meet you 3 years ago, right?
Yeah.
We meet in college. So for those that don't know, we went to college. Actually, in military school. I didn't go to military. He was in the military, but we meet each other in college, and I'm immediately drawn to you, like because in our school situation, it's not what you think about like in like a day-to-day college student's life. Day-to-day college students live amongst each other. Their classes are like 40 people. Like there's like 40 people in all different classes. Our classes were 6 or 7 of us, and we all took the same classes. And it was only 6 or 7 of us. So it was me, you, and like 5 or 6 other people, right? So I was immediately drawn to Randall. A, he's from around here. B, I just relate. Just because like, and not taking nothing from anybody that we went to school with, but like none of them really lived the lives that we lived. Right. I wasn't heavy into drugs or banging cocaine or anything like that, but I definitely was around people that banged cocaine. You know what I'm saying? All of us were. So when we met in college, I was like, oh yeah, this is my guy. Connected with him. So to see you go from telling us your story to fucking walking across the stage at a military college, dude, at a 4-year university, dude, it's a sense of pride that I had in myself and in you and the rest of our classmates too. So to know that you came from lower than all of us, no disrespect meant, but lower than all of us, to walking across the same stage that we all did, that's quite the accomplishment, dude.
That's
Absolutely.
that what I could give my kids was that diploma. You know what I mean?
Dude, I give it to mine too. I say the same shit.
And it was a beautiful thing because my older kids, you got to remember, were they were aware.
They were there.
Daddy was gone for a lot of this. Like, what the heck was going on? You know, and they had a lot of rough times, and it was like, you know, I can't apply myself and I can do something for you. You know, I tell my daughter all the time, I joined the Army for you, but I went and messed that up. You know what I'm saying? Because if I could have been, I was a good soldier. I think I was a good soldier when it was work time. As soon as work got out, I didn't know how to act. I got demoted twice for fighting, getting drunk at bars and fighting. I stayed in trouble, but I never got chaptered out. They never kicked me out because when it was work time, it was work time. I was a company commander driver for a while because the guy thought I was like high speed, you know. I was running like sub 12-minute 2 miles. I could run fast. I trained hard. I was a good shot, you know, and I was serious about what I was doing. I loved my job, you know.
Dude, that speaks volumes when you're serious about what you do. Not only just like what you do or what I do or what you do. Like anything that you do, dude, if you put yourself into it, man, you really, really take it serious. That's where people excel.
And that's why I got so much respect for you, because I've never met a more hardworking person in school than this dude. Like, I don't know if you know Anthony. You know how this. Nah.
We just met.
You probably know him a little better than me.
But like, we used to call him the cyborg. Like this dude, he would not give up until he understood completely what was happening on every subject. Like,
nah, I'm like the yin. He's the yang. Like, I gotta tell him, like, calm down, bro. It's not that serious, man. It's like, just chill. It's gonna happen.
That. Let's do this to its fullest potential. That's how I look at it. Let's be the best. And I'll say that for all, like I said, there's only 7 of us in the class. There's 6 or 7 of us in our little group. I would be like, nah, we're all gonna do the best that we can do. If somebody was slacking off, I call them on a Saturday morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. What the fuck you doing? Why ain't you doing it? Come on, bro. You know that shit's coming up. Let's fucking go, dude.
Right. Well, I dope. I'm proud of both of y'all, man. Good shit, man. I'm glad that y'all did that shit, man. I feel like we're gonna need a part 2 because I don't even feel like we got through a quarter of your story. You know what I mean? But you know, I'm thankful that you were willing to share it, because I think you're probably the 3rd recovering addict we've had on. Yeah. 3rd or 4th. And the stories are all similar. Like you said, like obviously y'all have your own stories. Y'all grew up different, but a lot of, because what's weird is like I know one came from a good background, came from a good family,
good structure,
loving, good structure, all that, and I'm glad that we have that contrast, because the other ones, you know, came from a chaotic background, like with a abusive this or abusive that, or like a broken home or bouncing around, like all those things. And like a lot of times people think like that's what makes an addict, you know what I'm saying? But the other, Charlotte, shout out Charlotte, love her, that's like my sister. She came from a great background, both parent home, super loving, like everything they need, everything you could want, like nothing, never wanted for nothing, and she still went that route, you know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that we've had both those stories on this podcast to be told, because like you said, I know we talked about like weed, and I was like, oh, it's not a drug or whatever, and like I'm not a big smoker or nothing like that. Like I I could give a fuck less, honestly, but it can be a gateway to people. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I meant by like coffee or this or that. It's just like, if you find something that you just can't get fixated off of and you know it's not good for you, just run, bro. Run the other way. Like
damn wild cherry Pepsi.
Yeah, like that like
Get you.
that's always been my goal for this podcast, is like to teach people. Like, that's why the slogan is like, think hard, work smart. If you want to grow, just add water. Like, literally, like, pour into yourself in a way that helps you grow. Nice. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop pouring poison into your body that's stopping you from this growth. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all are a testament to that with college. Like, y'all know how much fucking work that takes, and you can't have no kind of I like me doing this podcast. Like, I know that it looks fun, like we just sit here and talk, but shit, when these fucking cameras shut off, dog, I got like, we gonna sit here for an hour and a half talking, but I'm gonna spend 8, 10, 12 hours on this bitch, editing it, exporting it, getting it ready for the vocals, everything. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I mean. It's just like it's like pouring yourself into something that can just promote growth in you and the people around you. Like, that's the next step, I think. And I hope that people take that. It's like, once you've got yourself in a good space and you've poured a lot into yourself, you got to start pouring into others.
That's right.
Yeah, because what they say, my cup runneth over. You know what I mean? My cup runneth over, and that's why I'm thankful to share some of my water with you and you. But I'd love to have you back on and finish what we started talking about with you, man. This is our boy Randall.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate you having my boy come on.
Dog.
Like we always say, think harder, work smarter. If you want it to grow, just add water. Randall, Schizo, Cousin Sal, Water Boy. It's the Water Pot. Peace.
We out.
In my head, yeah.